How to select the freshest produce so that it's fresh still when you want to eat it. Organic produce is not always beautiful. So you'll see some different, like this tomato right here, it's an heirloom tomato, and it's actually starting to go a little bit bad, but they're not beautiful. I mean, any of our tomatoes here, even our peppers that we just got today are not beautiful. And they also have strawberries. I brought you a couple sets of strawberries that we bought last Friday, and then one we bought today, and how they age and so on. In order to be able to have your produce fresh when you want to eat it, you really have to have a plan when you go to the store. So I don't know how many people write out a menu, or you just walk through the store and just go, oh, I think we'll have chicken tonight, or we'll have turkey tonight, or we're going to have salad tomorrow and a salad on Thursday. But before I learned how to select my own fresh produce, I would go and say, oh, it looks fresh to me, I buy on Sunday, looks fresh to me today, and find out that Friday, when I actually did get around to eating it, it wasn't any good anymore. You start with your plan, and you kind of have an idea of what you're going to eat on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you can kind of buy your produce accordingly. So all produce has visual signs of aging. A lot of times when you're in a grocery store, the grocery stores are really cold in the produce section, and so you won't necessarily see bruises and so on. So you should touch your produce. You should really touch it and make sure that when you're feeling it, you're not feeling any bruises or you're not seeing any visible damage. So this tomato right here is kind of not ripe on this side right here, but it's been damaged, and I've had it out of the refrigerator for a few days. So now you can see the damage on the tomato. A lot of people would throw this tomato away, but I would just take and cut it off, and I would cut off the damaged part of it, and I would eat the rest of it in maybe not a salad, but I would probably maybe saute it with some meat, or I would bake it in the oven and add herbs to it, or so on, in order to be continually able to eat this. A lot of people will just throw it away. One of the reasons why I don't throw things necessarily all away is because whatever we buy, 40% of whatever we buy as consumers ends up in the landfill at the end of the week. And you think of all the people, if we had different food laws and how we could share things with homeless and so on, then we would end up being able to feed a lot more people. So I try not to throw ever anything away. But I also do compost as well. So if I do have to throw stuff away, I put it in the compost. It goes out to Recycle City, and Recycle City composts it for me and then delivers me this beautiful compost dirt at the end of the quarter. But you guys can definitely see some of the things that are going on here. So this tomato right here is perfect to eat today. It's got a little soft side right here, so you could eat it absolutely today. You guys later can come up and feel whatever you want. This heirloom tomato, I bought this morning, and I bought it on purpose. It is already way too ripe. See how it's already oozing out and stuff? But this side over here is really hard, so it leads me to believe that somebody in the store actually dropped it. So I am an advocate for feel your food, bring it home and wash it. You're gonna wash it anyway, so just feel your food and bring it home and wash it. There's some shallots that I bought. This one looks really good. You see there's perfect color. On these ones, you can see they're starting to turn grayish brown and starting to look a little moldy right here. That means you need to eat it pretty soon or it's gonna be bad. And the longer you let it get like that, it'll start to rot on the inside. And when it rots on the inside, it'll start to rot all the rest of your fruits and vegetables that it's near as well. Let's say you picked a tomato, this tomato, you were gonna eat it, you were thinking you were gonna eat it on Friday, but instead you wanted to eat it on Wednesday, but it's not ripe yet. Throw it inside of a bag, paper bag, put it in the window. With it, even you can want it to go to tomorrow, be ready tomorrow, put it in with a piece of already ripe fruit, and it will ripen quickly. Same thing goes if you have these on the counter and you don't want them to ripen anymore, put them in the refrigerator, they'll slow down the ripening process. But now here's an example of the perfect apple. Example of perfect apple, and you can, if you feel it, if you want to pass it around, you can feel it, you feel there's some soft sides on it. It didn't feel like that 2 hours ago when I pulled it out of the refrigerator. But I knew there was a bruise there because I felt it earlier, but you couldn't see it. Now you're starting to see the purpleness come through. So my suggestion really honestly is you can buy organic produce in any one of the grocery stores, of course. Find out what day the grocery store is actually delivering the produce. That's when it's going to be freshest for you to be able to buy. As well as, if you're buying from a farmer's market, talk to the farmers. They'll tell you how it's grown, what they've used in the soil, how they fertilize it, and they'll even tell you, you know what, maybe my chard's not so great today. Come back in a week, it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. Or these tomatoes are great, don't stay away from these tomatoes. They will absolutely help you with the produce. Here's an example of some strawberries that we have here. So I bought these strawberries last Friday, and you can see there's a couple of organic strawberries that actually still have not ripened yet. And the reason why I buy in smaller containers is because I can turn them over and see all of the strawberries for the most part inside of it. And you'll see some other strawberries that are in there that are already starting to mold. This guy was specifically starting to mold. And when you leave them all in there together like that, then the other ones will start to mold significantly faster. These ones I bought today. So we did them with some food boxes this morning. We had some strawberries. So you can see that these ones are perfect to eat right this moment. But tomorrow, I don't think that they're going to be very good. So I think we're going to be eating them a little bit later. And then avocados. Avocados always feel hard, and they're actually kind of tricky. But if you use these rules that you see this is kind of glossy still, that means it's not ripe yet. It'll be ripe in probably 4 or 5 days if you leave it on the counter. You see this guy is starting to turn brown, and you see it's starting to get some moldy spots on it. That means that he's ripe and ready to eat now. He's ripe and ready to eat now. In a couple of days, he's not going to be ripe at all anymore. He'll be overripe enough to toss him out. This guy right here is almost to the point where he's ripe, but not yet because he still has a little glossy piece on him. He's starting to turn a little bit brown and so on right there. He'll be ready in probably 3 or 4 days. Or if you want to get this guy ready to go, put him in the bag with your overripe tomato and he'll be ready for you tomorrow. And put him in the sun. That quick. The smaller the bag and the more ripe, if you put it in a bag by itself, it's a couple of days, but if you put it in with ripe fruit already, it's usually within 24 hours, depending on how unripe he is. But he's ready to go. You can get some of them that you see that are really smooth and haven't started to get the pits yet. Those ones probably take a couple of days. But this he's about ready to go. And then also, you know, you have because organic fruits and foods are not necessarily beautiful. You see your yellow squash here. Feel him, he's still nice and hard. He just looks a little brown. And I leave the skin on everything that I eat. I leave the skin on everything because that's where most of the fiber and the vitamins are at. You see this guy right here. In a couple places he's starting to get a little bit soft, and he's starting to mold too. So you'll start to see that. You can't always tell by the softness whether or not it's good or not. You have to look at the color, pigmentation, and just feel it. Thanks again so very much. I look forward to seeing you guys next month. Visit my website and learn more about my service, and follow me on social media to connect more.